Why, as a woman, do I crave carbohydrates and I really don't crave protein, whereas men, they always want protein?
Well, what's happened with that is with women, because of the hormonal fluctuations throughout the month, they basically have a tendency to their serotonin levels to drop, and so they're always craving sugars and sweets and things that'll bulk them up,
Keep
and,
us,
make them happy. That's right.
Yeah.
You know, so it's so funny. I subliminally said bulk them up, and that's true because it will bulk you up. Because what happens is when you eat a lot of processed carbohydrates, what ends up happening is when you eat the processed carbohydrates, it elevates your insulin. And when you elevate your insulin, you start storing all those extra carbohydrates as fat. And that's one of the keys with women. You have to understand, you don't want to eat high glycemic carbohydrates. And we talk about this, you know, through a lot of programs we have available.
I never had any problem with my stomach as far as storing any fat there till I turned like 48. And it was so frustrating because, like you say, and then I started eating a lot more protein, and I really have to make myself eat eggs every day, but now...
You get used to it, and plus it makes your hair look better, skin look better.
And thinning hair, it really helps with thinning hair, too.
Now, we got to get through a couple more of these things. Next thing we tell folks always to do to help reverse the aging process is basically to eat foods that are high in omega-3 fats, like salmon. Now, when you eat salmon, always make sure that you get fresh, wild salmon. Always ask the person if you're in a restaurant ordering it, is this wild salmon or is this farm-raised salmon? Wild salmon is excellent for you. Farm-raised salmon is terrible for you. Farm-raised salmon is not even pink in color. They have to dye it. And it's interesting, I was at a hotel a few months back, and they were having a breakfast buffet, and they had lox, you know, the smoked salmon on the white plates, and all the color was bleeding out of it. And it was all the food coloring was coming out of the salmon. It was all orange. I said, guys, I said, don't you have some real salmon? Well, this is real salmon. I said, don't you have anything with artificial colors in it? And so they said, no, this is all we have. And I'm like, this is not healthy.
And the wild salmon tastes
And the wild tastes and also cod liver oil. We found one brand of cod liver oil that's phenomenal. It works great.
That's right.
And then we also, a couple of years ago, we developed a product. It's a product that actually helps to boost the body's own production of human growth hormone. And when you take this product, and friends, I'm not joking, this stuff is amazing, it actually lowers your blood pressure almost instantaneously because it helps to relax the muscles. Secondly, it's like a natural Viagra in men. Third, it helps to burn cellulite and body fat. It's absolutely phenomenal.
And it increases your energy levels and your strength in the gym.
And increases your lean muscle mass.
Yeah.
And so it's like a...
I've gotten stronger taking that.
It's absolutely incredible. Now, next thing we need to do is we need to also drink pure water.
That's right. That's important.
I know we talk about this on every single show, and there's a reason for that. If you're listening today and you're only going to do one thing that we suggest, drink water. That's the one thing.
Good water.
Good water. Number two is take your cod liver oil. And Pastor Benny was so funny on one of the prior shows we had done with him. He goes, well, how does it taste? And I said, well, it tastes terrible.
But no, let me say one thing. We've got
You've gotten used to it.
No, we've got a brand now that has got cinnamon extract and mint, and you can get mint extract. So if you like one of those flavors, it's not that bad. And our kids take it every day. I mean, you know, I don't care about the taste because the results are so good. And you get me started on this cod liver oil, my fine lines have decreased. My skin, my complexion, people come up to me and comment on my complexion. It's got A and D in it and a natural source, and it just feeds your skin because, you know, women, we put all these creams, fortune on wrinkle creams and all that, but it's what you put on the inside.
That's right.
It makes the biggest difference.
Why get you all stoked up on cod liver?
Oh man, you start talking about that. It's results.
It works great, but it tastes terrible. I'm sorry, Sharon. It still tastes bad.
I like the cinnamon.
You like the cinnamon, okay. But the cod liver oil is absolutely bad. We've only found one brand that works, by the way, that really works well because it has natural A and D added back into it. Drink pure water is absolutely critical. Now, next thing is stop smoking. Number 5, we need to avoid high-fat luncheon meat nitrites. Sodium nitrite is one of the most toxic ingredients they put into our luncheon meat. Bacon, sausage, ham, pepperoni, and hot dogs. You don't eat this stuff. You got to avoid this stuff. And plus, it has another problem. It's very high in the amino acid called methionine. Methionine, if you don't have enough B6, B12, and folic acid in your diet or you're taking those supplements, converts to homocysteine. And homocysteine is the primary cause of atherosclerotic plaquing, not cholesterol. This research was done by 38 years ago by a guy by the name of McCulley, Dr. McCulley, and he was ridiculed by the mainstream media. But finally, they're beginning to realize that 50% of the people that have heart attacks today have heart attacks and die have normal cholesterol levels. It's not the cholesterol, guys. It's the homocysteine levels. Very important that you understand that. Cholesterol is an important factor, but it's not the primary factor as far as I'm concerned with heart disease. And that's why if you're doing what we're saying today, you're going to eliminate a lot of these problems and not have to, you know, be going in and have bypass surgery. By the way, bypass surgery, God bless you if you think you got to do that, because there's all kinds of natural ways, if we had time to talk about it. 2 key ways that you can clean out the arteries without doing bypass surgery, which have no bad side effects. If we had time today, we could go into detail about that, but we don't. Next thing we want to talk about is exercise and resistance training. This is absolutely critical that we do cardio exercise every single day. If it's just walking, for heaven's sakes, you got to get out there. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is fiber. Virtually nobody in America gets enough fiber. That's why colon rectal cancer is the #1 cause of cancer in this country. I mean, Sharon, we can honestly say, and I hope it's okay with Pastor Benny to say this, but the U.S. is plugged up from the East Coast to the West Coast. I mean, it's just that bad. I mean, laxative sales are in the billions. And you think, well, that's terrible. It is terrible. It's particularly terrible if you're afflicted with it, because that's one of the key factors with breast cancer and colorectal cancer is constipation. And we have to realize that this is something we've got to talk about and not pretend like it's not happening, because if we don't talk about it, it just gets worse and worse and worse.
Organic apples. And I'm always Ted, have you had your apple today?
That's right.
At least eat 1 apple a day.
Avoid sodas, diet sodas. Don't put any of this in your body. They contain phosphoric acid. Plus, the diet sodas contain phenylalanine, aspartic acid, and methanol, which is the constituent components of aspartame, which has been shown to cause brain tumors, brain cancer, seizures, headaches, optic nerve degradation. Plus, the phosphoric acid of these products is so acidic, it takes 33 glasses of water to neutralize the acidity of 1 soda. So it's absolutely critical that you stay away from sodas. And your children, you adults, especially if you're elderly, don't drink sodas. Next thing, avoid stress. And the reason you want to destroy stress as much as you possibly can is it elevates cortisol. And when you elevate cortisol, it's a muscle wasting hormone. And what it ends up doing basically is destroying you internally first, making your muscles waste, lowering your metabolic rate. If we had time today, we'd cover the top 5 ways to burn and melt body fat. We don't have time to do that. But what cortisol does, it destroys the body internally. And one of the key things that elevates cortisol quicker than anything else, and I've never talked about this on a show before, is coffee. When you drink caffeinated coffee, it elevates your cortisol through the roof. I try never to drink coffee, and I haven't had any coffee today. We had some green tea before we did the show because we were a little bit jet lagged. But if I drink coffee, I get real edgy and real irritable. And I just don't do it. It's not fair to Sharon. It's not fair to the kids. It's not fair to me. I don't like the way I feel. I get a headache the next day. I stay away from it. Caffeine, the coffee is very, very unhealthy for you. It'll make you age very, very quickly. Now, everybody was saying, well, I was with him until he said that. Well, guys, when I was in graduate school at Florida State University, I used to drink 18 cups of coffee a day. A couple years out of graduate school, I ended up with heart disease and almost died from it. The University of the British Medical Journal Lancet a few years ago said if you drink 5 cups of coffee and you're a man, you increase your risks of cardiovascular disease by up to 50%. And so, guys, it's not something that you can live with, it's something you can live without. And with women, particularly, it causes a massive increase in fibroid tumor formation and breast cancer. We think in women, I personally believe it does cause it, increase in risks in breast cancer.
Drink green tea, right?
Drink green tea. So let me show you what we have. This is Maximum Age Reversal. This is a phenomenal book. It talks about staying heart disease and cancer-free, which supplements really work to reverse the aging process, which there are some that really work amazing. 10 key strategies looking and feeling 20 years younger, stress-free living made simple. This book's included in the program that we're going to talk about in just a second. Then I have my book, Maximum Energy. This is, as far as I'm concerned, the finest health book ever written. It's super easy to read. It went to number 15 on Amazon. It was an international bestseller. A phenomenal book, very easy to read, incredible book. I love this book. Friends, we want to thank you again for supporting this broadcast, and we thank you for tuning in today, and we'll see you next time.